start. Oh my God, bro. NBA basketball, you do not want to face an NBA player at any level. All these college basketball kids right now, no way. No, I told you when we play intramurals against when they let the Lehigh like basketball team kids play, we were getting cooked.
Yeah.
We were getting smoked.
It's crazy because when I used to like practice with the club team at Rutgers.
Yeah.
And not even like, oh, the guys team comes out. Of course they can cook us. Yeah. Like the bench player on the girls team was coming and washing us. It's like, all right, guys, let's take it
all
easy.
Too well.
Like,
all too well.
Them, don't talk no trash because I can guarantee she better than you and she gonna trash talk you. Nah, bro. Nah, I'm not about to play no girl hard. I'm like, all right. When she puts you on skates and then she's not gonna dunk on you. When she puts you on skates, hit you with that lay, that up and under, don't be tight.
It's much worse getting put on skates than getting dunked on because anybody can get dunked on. Nah, if you get put on skates at the 3-point line, did you see Taj Gibson the other day? Don't know why he was in the game against Trae Young. Don't know why he picked up on the switch on Trae Young. But he was breakdancing, bro, at the 3-point line. And I was trying to figure out what happened. I was not playing back yesterday.
I would rather get put on skates than to get dunked on because they'll forget you getting put on skates. Like,
I don't know.
People to this day, still look at who was it? Was it Shaq?
We might have to put a poll out, like on Twitter or something. We need some feedback on this. Would you rather get put on skates or would you rather get dunked on?
All I can picture right now is Shaq dunking on that guy and pushing him to the ground. Like,
but that's Shaq was the most disrespectful dunker of all time. Like, he would wrap his legs around people and make sure you were on the floor under him. Like, he was disrespectful. That was against the Knicks too. I don't even remember who that was on the Knicks. Just Steve.
The only handles that like I remember, like other than like the recent Steph Curry ones, the only one from like more than 5 years ago that still lives rent free in my head is when Joe Johnson hit Paul Pierce with the left, right, and Paul Pierce kissed the ground. He said, "Boof!" I said, "Yo, how is it even possible?"
Well,
he didn't even move. He stood in the same spot. He fell forward.
He just fell. That's when he proposed. He was on one knee. He was on the ground. Bro, we know one player that was on both ends of that spectrum, and it's Brandon Knight. Yammed on by Lob City DeAndre Jordan and put on 88s
by Kyrie
by Kyrie. Yeah.
Oh
my god. We might have to add him on Twitter because what's it like, bro? What happened?
That was actually one of my favorite like sporting moments that didn't really count because like him and Kyrie really went back and forth on each other for like 10 minutes, and then he got hit.
Because at the time he was a name.
Yeah,
he was a name. Yeah, he was in Detroit, and I mean like Detroit wasn't great, but he was like the best player on the Pistons like for the early 2010s. And he was good. Like he was averaging like 20 a game almost.
Yeah,
but
that was
both ends of the spectrum,
bro.
Both ends of the spectrum at that point. I mean, Kyrie's handles early 2010s, he was doing people dirty. Dirty. And now he's about to be back. You're about to see those handles again. Kyrie's back.
Yo, they gotta play that. Man. They gotta play that before the opening tip against the Grizzlies. Against the Grizzlies on Sunday. I need that.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be hilarious.
Hey, all right. Episode 32, DROD Shaniac Sports Podcast. Listen, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in basketball right now. There's like 12 games left, right? About the end of the month, like first 2 weeks of April, about a lot of teams fighting for spots. Nets are definitely in it. Knicks are definitely out of it right now. 6 games back. Schedule's not looking bright for them right now. So
you're 6 games back of who?
We're tied with Washington right now in 6 games back of Atlanta.
6 for the 10 seed. Atlanta?
Of the 10 seed, yeah.
I thought you were about to say 6 games back of like the number 8 seed or something like that, bro.
Oh no, it's not looking good. We're 6 games out of the playoffs.
You basically got to win out. Like
that's not possible. Atlanta's schedule. RJ is
doing
next up. 30 points, 30-point triple-double.
This is his time now.
30-point triple-double today, 30 points last game. Like, they're like, oh, RJ needs to average 21 points to average for the rest of the season to average 20 points a game this season. Bro, he's going to do that. I'm not even worried about that right now. I don't care if he even doesn't do it. I already know. And Knicks fans should already know that he's next up. Like, June next year, I'm sorry, bro. You were our most efficient scorer up until the All-Star break. Since the All-Star break, RJ Barrett is a top 10 scorer in the league. Like, I don't know how it happened. And it was literally overnight, but might have to defer to him next year.
Tibbs just realized Randle is not the way he was last year.
He definitely is not.
The beginning of this year, Tibbs was like, we live and die by Julius Randle because that's how you guys won last year.
Yeah, and the Knicks fans knew that.
Do it again. It don't work that way every time. So you gotta go with the proven commodity. And RJ is proving himself now. Julius Randle never really proved himself. What he's proven is that he's a number 3. At best, a number 2.
He proved himself last year. He proved himself last year
to be a number 1, though.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is that I think we always knew we needed another piece,
of course,
to add to Julius, and because that was solely evident in the playoffs last year when Atlanta smoked us. Yeah, he can't be a number 1 because you double team Julius Randle and he doesn't know how to defer the ball. He either turns it over or takes a terrible shot. And again, he's not a bad player. That's never to be confused with he's not a bad player.
No, he's not.
He's a really good player. He's the best scorer on our team right now. But he will be deferring to RJ Barrett come October next year.
No, come yesterday.
Well, he's injured right now. So he's.
What I'm saying, think about it like this: he has to eat because points got to come from somewhere. Every team. He's still got
to put up his 20. He's still got to put up his 20
points.
Yeah.
RJ got to be putting up more than you.
Yeah.
Has to.
Yeah.
If y'all are gonna do anything next year, RJ has to be the number 1, unless you guys trade for Dame or something like that, which is not gonna happen. But if you do. Then Dame is number 1, RJ is number 2. Julius can still get his 20, but he got to be number 3. Remember, Heat days. LeBron, Wade, and Bosh all average like 18 up. Yeah. So Julius Randle could still get his buckets, but he has to stop jacking up so many shots.
Yeah. What he's going to have to do is now, because RJ's a better scorer, is that he can now find more spacing on the floor and work around that spacing. Yep. He won't be double teamed as much, which would be super helpful.
I agree.
The other aspect is, if we don't get a player like Dame in the offseason, we're going to need free agency this summer to be like working around the clock, because the free agents this year severely underproduced. I mean, Fournier, his numbers for like 3-pointers, he's doing exactly what we expected him to, but we needed him to be a better scoring option. I think he needed to be our 3 this year, and he absolutely was not. He was super inconsistent.
2 this year, because I don't think Tibbs still.
I don't even think
he was gonna go crazy. I think he thought it
was
like
beginning of the year.
Randle and Fournier that were gonna hold him until RJ got better, and Fournier did nothing.
I think Knicks fans knew that RJ's expectations for this year were a lot higher, because last year he was a decent player, and we knew he was capable. So we were like, when is that going to be consistent? Can that be year 3 now, this year? And we're seeing it now, second half. But going back to, front office stuff, they're really going to have to analyze, who's available, where can we move from here? Guys like Kemba are definitely not going to be with us next year. I'd be surprised if we have Burks next year too. I'd still like him as a 6-man off the bench. It's just I would hate to see him be starting point guard or something next year if they don't make the right moves. He's only starting
because D-Rose not there. Like, I feel like they probably would have forced D-Rose into the starting lineup by now.
IQ is much better at point guard right now. He's not scoring as well as he could be, but he's dishing the ball. He's grabbing rebounds. He could be like a triple-double threat like next year almost, because he's really like all over the floor. He's spacing everyone well. McBride is the other guy that I'm a little worried about, and maybe Grimes if he comes back a little healthier. But McBride hasn't just developed yet, and they're both rookies. They'll need another year behind quickly or something. but IQ could absolutely do it. I'd like to see, obviously, we talked about this in our NBA episode, more versatility with the younger guys. I mean, all the Knicks fans obviously want that. But this season was, I think, the poster example of, why you don't not develop your young players, right? Like,
Exactly.
There's a reason why you don't keep pushing these old guys until they break all their bones. But listen, I do think I have high hopes for the Nets. Your team's going to look good in the playoffs, and I think you said it before. You just don't want to end up playing a team like the Bucks first round.
I need the Nets to get to the 6th seed, because if we stay at the 8, we're going to have to play in Toronto, which means no Kyrie. If we get to the 7, and we'll probably win that game against the Raptors at home with Kyrie. Mm-hmm. Only thing I'm worried about is who wants to play the Bucks in the first round. You don't ever want to play the Bucks in the first round. You want to stay in the playoffs as long as possible. And I think, of course, Kyrie and KD last year with a worse team was nasty and had won by 40, both those first 2 games at home. So, of course, we can still beat them. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But we got to remember the Bucks have Ibaka now. So, like, their interior defense never slacks. Yeah. It's either Ibaka or Giannis or Brook Lopez in the paint. All 3 of them are shot blockers. So of course, I still think we'll beat the Bucks, but I want us to get into a rhythm first. And if Ben Simmons is going to come back, which I highly doubt, but if he does, we need as many games as possible. We need to get to the 3 seed so that we play the Sixers in the first round, because James Harden is going to choke. Embiid, of course, Embiid's still a dog. James Harden's still a dog, but when it comes down to it, the Nets exposed James Harden. He's not a fast break. He's not a run and gun guy. He's going to take the ball, dribble up the court at his own pace, lull you to sleep, and then go. He can't do that against the Nets, because we just going to run back and forth on you, and we're going to run it up on you. It's hard to win a championship that way, but to get out of a playoff series, easy work. So I don't know. I just need us to get to the 6 so we can play the Sixers or the Celtics if the Celtics get crazy, because we'll watch the Celtics. Like I of course, what's his name? Jason Tatum is going to have to literally score 60 a game for them to win this series. But other than that, we're going to watch the Celtics. It's just a foregone conclusion at this point, unless Jason Tatum turns into MJ. So I'm not worried about them. But playing the Bucks first round, I don't want it. I think you guys will be pretty good. I mean, listen, funny enough, this is not even an NBA episode. It's not.
As I went off on my first tangent, I just had to Knicks rant for a little bit. But this is an NFL episode, because if you have not been paying attention to NFL football for the last month,
the amount of times I was like, what? Over the last 2 weeks, like,
may not even recognize the NFL next year. It might be you might think you're watching the XFL after you've recapped what's happening right now. So Super Bowl happens. Stafford and Cup lead the Rams to a Super Bowl win way back in the middle of February. There's already like rumors from the Rams themselves, who's coming back? Is Aaron Donald staying? Is he going to retire right after the Super Bowl? Is McVay retiring because he's done his thing as the youngest coach ever? Donald says, I'm staying if you're staying, McVay, because we can't win without you. This has been a whole process basically with them, right? Like since they moved to LA, basically it's been build. You now have this championship caliber team, and you proved yourself. You beat the Bengals, who were on a hot streak. And at this point, you're king of the NFL. Since then, let's go way back to about the first week of March, this story reappears about Russell Wilson, that he's unhappy in Seattle, that Pete Carroll's not making the right decisions as a coach, and that the GM doesn't seem to be moving forward with Russ at the helm. And that was already evident with last season, because they didn't improve their defense at all. Their defense was one of the worst in the league. They're severely overpaying Jamal Adams, who's not producing for them right now. And and most importantly, Russ gets hurt last year, tries to make a comeback at the end of the season. They ended up with the worst record in that division, no? Like, it was Rams, Niners. Who else is in that division? NFC West. Rams, Niners, who both made the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And what's that other team? It's Seattle. Seattle was the worst team in that division because Russ got hurt. Aside from that,
it's
bro, this can't be that hard. There's only 16. There's only 4 teams in that division. I got you right now because I'm looking at the standings.
Is it the Cardinals?
It's the Cardinals, who also made the wild card, that last wild card. So with Kyler hurt, and again, Seahawks finished with the bottom record in the NFC West, something they hadn't done since like the early 2010s, pre-Russ, which is already setting the tone for saying Russ needs more.
He needs help.
So if Russ isn't getting the help that he needs in Seattle, the news story that pops out again is Russ is seeking a trade. And at the same time, we're also hearing rumors about Aaron Rodgers possibly moving. He buys a house in Tennessee, and people think his time in Green Bay is done. And he re-signs with the Packers. Tom Brady retires, comes out of retirement
40 days later.
40 days later, and says, we're not done. I like to be home with my kids, but they're doing Zoom school right now, and I don't know how to do 8th grade math, so I gotta go play football. The first biggest transaction to come out of this NFL offseason on March 16th was that Russell Wilson gets traded to the Denver Broncos. And the NFL world collapses because I texted my friend who's a Seahawks fan, bro, are you okay? And he's like, I'm doing all right. What's happening? I'm like, oh no. Oh, you haven't. Oh my God. This is going to be the worst news you have ever heard. And I just sent him the Schefter tweet. And he's like, please tell me this is photoshopped. And I'm like, oh no. You're about to have the worst day of your life. And reality sets in, and Seahawks fans everywhere. I follow Mina Kimes from ESPN. She's a Seahawks fan, huge Russ fan. She's like in shambles, and I just know Seahawks Nation is getting ready to endure like the worst decade of football probably since pre-Russ days. Like, it's about to be bad. They have trouble drafting quarterbacks. They have receivers who are now lost without a quarterback. They have no running game. They got no defense. What's going to happen?
We'll get there. No, we'll get there. Let's go. Let's keep going. Because
second news.
I know who their quarterback needs to be.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Next move same day. Another story comes out that the Cowboys are looking to either restructure Amari Cooper's contract or allow him the space to ask for a trade.
I don't have to worry about him anymore.
Giants fans everywhere rejoice because like 6 hours later, Amari Cooper gets traded to the Cleveland Browns. My dad just told me something. He's a Cowboys fan. Just told me something this morning that Amari Cooper got drafted by the Raiders, spent 2 years there, had 2 productive seasons. Last season there was a worse season than the first one. Asks for a trade, gets traded to the Cowboys. He's played now 2 seasons with the Cowboys. Next season, the last season, the most recent season he's just played has been an underproductive one, considering the last 2 he played with the Cowboys. He got hurt this year. Yeah.
Always hurt. He plays through it.
Asked for a trade.
Always hurt.
Yeah. So now we're expecting him to go to Cleveland. He was supposed to have Jarvis Landry with him. Jarvis Landry was another player on the move. I think he got released, right? They asked him if he wanted to go, and they just let him go. I don't know if he's been picked up yet. He's gone. Cooper's gone. Giants fans rejoice because they don't have to worry about him. They just got to double CD Lamb and hope Michael Gallup and Dak Prescott can't connect on every single throw next year.
Watch Zeke turn back the clock 3 years and end up the best wide receiver in the league again, the best running back in the league again.
How does he lose 400 pounds, or does he decide that he's going to wear like the most lightweight, fastest shoes ever?
That is why he held out. He said, once I get my check, I'm gone. You're not talking to me again. I told you that's why he held out. He's like, I'm only gonna get that one contract. Let me get the one contract and I'm gone. Smart man. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I know someone else who did the same thing. Could have been Julius Randle, maybe, but you know. Third big transaction. Bears sent Khalil Mack to the Chargers. And the Bears, who were pretty much done.
It makes no sense. You're making the Chargers the best defense with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like,
you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on two sides of the ball. You got Chris Harris Jr. covering your best receiver on the other end.
Oh God.
Two safeties who are really good back in the secondary. Their defense is going to be insane next year. One of the like you said, one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Things about to get crazy in LA, in the other LA at the Chargers. And then sticking with the AFC West, the Raiders got Yannick Ngakoue, who's one of the better defensive ends in the league. And out of nowhere, Aaron Rodgers thinks, let's run this back, Last Dance version 2. And Davante Adams is gone. Out the door. He's gone the next day. Like, yeah, that when I saw that, bro, I was sitting in my living room. I was just minding my business. I never screamed on my phone so loud in my life. I was like, yo,
28
Davante Adams to the Raiders. And we were talking about this earlier about Derek Carr. Derek Carr is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He lost one of his best receivers last year.
Receiver.
He has Hunter Renfrow, who you called a touchdown machine.
He's a slot receiver, which is why it's like he's gonna get his touchdowns.
He's one of the guys. He's always in motion. He moves around the field. He's actually like a Julian Edelman in that sense, where he moves around the field a lot and can catch you a touchdown at any moment. But you add Amari Cooper into that mix. Oh, I'm sorry. You add Davante Adams into that mix.
Amari Cooper's on the Browns, yeah.
No, yeah. If you add Davante Adams into that mix, who played with him at Fresno State, so they already have that connection there.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense looks insane. They have a really good running back already, Josh Jacobs, and Darren Waller as his tight end. He's basically like got one of the best offenses to work with.
Yep.
As his whole time as a Raider, that's the best offense he could possibly have had. And another team in the AFC West that just looks unstoppable. And at that time, you still have the Chiefs who have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Clyde Edwards-Helaire running back, Patty Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, highest paid quarterback in the league. At that time, the AFC West looks like a hellscape. You got Russell Wilson at quarterback in the Broncos now, who still have a really good defense. Out of nowhere, some minor news, Carson Wentz goes to the Washington Commanders, and I think the Colts were pretty much done with him after week 18 last year when he absolutely blew it against the Jaguars. He absolutely blew it. He went 100-0 real quick, like that one game. And he's back in the NFC East. I bet you a bunch of teams are going to welcome him back by just beating the brakes off of him and probably picking him off a bunch of times.
Maybe not, to be honest with you, because the Giants are tanking this year. And the Eagles still have
I don't know if you guys are I don't know if you guys are tanking this year with Tyrod as a backup, because again, Tyrod as a backup still means you could win games.
You know why we're tanking? Because the only reason they signed Tyrod Taylor is it's one of those things where it's like anyone but Mike Glennon. Like,
yeah,
anyone but Mike.
We've seen 2 years of Mike Glennon at this point. You've got to have somebody else.
He comes in the game, it's like, you gotta be kidding me. We can't move the ball 5 yards. Like when he starts the game and goes crazy. Like, I mean, first half of the game, you're like, man, like he's not scoring a touchdown, but he's getting us down into field goal range every time. Then the second half of the game comes in and he turns into like the 6-year-old on the football field. That's like you're standing 3 feet in front of him and he can't hit you. Like he can't hit you at all. Like
with the oversized helmet and pads like this,
throws over his head. Like this. you're standing right in front of him. Just place it in my hand. He misses. It's like, what are you doing? His accuracy becomes the worst. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh my god. Yeah, I don't know, bro.
I still think, Washington had an okay quarterback last year. Who's that guy? Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
And it was Fitzpatrick, wasn't it? Like to start the season,
he got hurt. But he got hurt again.
Yeah, and they have a decent receiver, Terry McLaurin. He was on my fantasy team this year, and like he was good like in spots. He was good against his own division, pretty much, and except Dallas. I don't know. Like the running back situation is weird. I think I had the running back too, and he was always hurt. I don't know about their offensive line. Their defense should be good. Chase Young is coming off an ACL, I think, right, from last year.
I don't know if he'll play it immediately, but he might.
It doesn't. I don't know. That was late in the year too.
He got hurt like week 12 or 15, 13, around there,
like middle and somewhere like that. It might be a stretch to start the year, but I don't know. He gets new life, and I think that's what Carson Wentz needs at this point in his career. Is just another opportunity. Historically, Washington doesn't really do well with new quarterbacks at the helm anyway. And considering he didn't come off like a monster season once, there's not that much of an upside
they've had in a long time. They had Alex Smith, but Alex Smith, as soon as he started playing there, he got his leg ripped off.
His legs.
Yeah.
Ouch. So. I don't know. It like at the end of the day, it's still Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is never going to have that 2018 confidence that he had, the regular season confidence. That wasn't him last year at all. Like at any point, even when they needed him to be him.
Put him on this current Miami team, and he probably goes out there and wins an MVP. Like,
maybe.
Yeah, he has so many weapons on Miami has so many weapons. Put him on last year's Bucks team, and he's not going to win MVP clearly, but he probably goes out there and throws 40 touchdowns. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's the Bucks too. You got three solid receivers,
number ones on your team, and a good running back. Like, you're gonna go out there and be disgusting.
And considering if he was still their starting tight end, you'd have Gronkowski there too, running up the seam. Like you would have 4 or 5 options every single time. That's why Brady came back.
Yeah,
Brady knew he was gonna have those same 5 options again,
except for Godwin.
Godwin's franchised, or no, he got a deal, I think, after he got franchise tagged.
But I'm saying, like, he's not playing this year because he tore his ACL in the last game of the season, so he's not coming back to like October the earliest, maybe November.
Was it an ACL? I thought it was a minor one too. I thought he could come back.
ACL, bro.
Which is why they signed him like to a long term.
No, they signed him because he's still the reason why all the rest of the wide receivers were getting open, which makes no sense to me because he's not the best wide receiver on the team.
Well, every time Evans is the best deep threat. He's the best. Like
turned and was like,
spot up.
That guy. Who is he? Let's go there. Yeah. And everybody else was open.
I mean, Brady still knows like he's coming back to a team.
Oh yeah.
He knew like if they hadn't signed Godwin, I think he probably figured, this isn't the same team I'm coming back to. Like, let me see what San Francisco's offering me. But he's back in Tampa. Probably gonna go back to the Super Bowl. This one was kind of weird to me. Because this story had been brewing for like 2 years, and it was the Deshaun Watson to the Browns situation. It was even more weird because like Baker was already asking for a trade, and they denied him. And right after they denied him, they picked up Deshaun Watson. And already because like the Deshaun Watson situation is like cleared, quote unquote, like legally. But there's still like the accusations in the air. Like a lot of Browns fans kind of hate it, and the ownership is still like iffy about it. So yes, like they're open to trade Baker now, but like come week 1, something could pop up with Deshaun Watson again, and they could be quarterbackless.
No, so like with Deshaun Watson, like he's been proven to like not have done what they've accused him of. Like in law, so like they can't pull it back up now. The only thing is the NFL can still suspend him because. But
that's what I'm.
So he's not gonna get like banned from the league.
No,
he's just gonna get suspended for like 4 or 5 games. So like
Okay.
They still can make the playoffs because he's still Deshaun Watson. He's threw for almost 5,000 yards with the Texans.
He hasn't
Trash.
played it. Well, no, he had D-Hop and then they were trash.
Yeah, everybody else was trash. So it's like, he was getting sacked 8 times a game, having to he was out here putting up numbers with nothing.
Yeah.
That's what there's like 3 quarterbacks in the league in today's game that can ball out with no offensive line. It's him, Joe Burrow, and I would say maybe Justin Herbert. Maybe you can go like Patrick Mahomes too, but like other than that, everyone else has to have a line.
Yeah, I mean Mahomes has a line. He's always had a line. And Herbert, I would argue, like he probably has one of the worst-ish lines, even though the Chargers have a good offense themselves. Basically, anybody who like can pass the ball but can't run the ball, they have a bad line. And actually, shout out to the Bengals right now because they just bolstered their line. They picked up Ted Karras from New England. Yeah, and they picked up La'el Collins.
3 more years.
They said he invited like 4 or 5 linemen who were free agents. To his house, threw them a party or barbecue or something like that, introduced them to all their families, had all their family over, this, that, and the third, probably had like some Bengals brass there, but essentially just welcomed them to the team, like threw a welcoming party while they weren't even apart and didn't have any deals in the works. But like La'el Collins, I guess one of the more underrated like draft picks from recent like years. Hasn't really played for the Cowboys, mostly because he's hurt. But when he's there, like, there's a reason why the Cowboys have one of the best, like, offensive lines, notably, like, in the last decade. And he was part of that. And the reason why Zeke was, like, a 1,000-yard rusher, like, 2 or 3 years ago.
And he doesn't have that anymore. He can't put up numbers like he wants to.
Yeah. So going back to that Deshaun Watson situation, it's still a little weird because now they have 2 quarterbacks. One who they know is probably on the way out, which is Baker. And they have essentially 1 receiver because they released Landry.
They're probably going to
Cooper's there.
Less money or a restructured longer term deal.
I mean, they'd have to figure out something because you got Deshaun Watson there. You're going to have to bolster your team.
Or OBJ could come back.
I think he's still with the Rams, though, right? They're just going to let him play out on his contract. I got to confirm that. I haven't heard any news from him.
I could have sworn he got traded there, and they were like, "Oh, you have just you're a free agent after this year or something like that."
He's a free agent right now. But it looks like actually there's some news. Rams definitely want him back, seeking a win-win deal with Aaron Donald. Is the Rams in turn, but a Browns run back is possible. Yeah,
because
Pro Football Rumors, Browns Nation.
The reason why he wanted out is because Baker's trash. Like he's not the worst, clearly, but
he wasn't throwing to him.
When you have 2 of the top 15 wide receivers in the league on your team, you shouldn't lose.
No. And you also shouldn't throw errant passes.
He wasn't throwing to them. It's like OBJ's open. He's just not giving them the ball. And it's like, bro, and you had Kareem Hunt on your team. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You should never lose with them 3. Not Kareem Hunt. What's his name?
Kareem Hunt. Well, they still had Kareem Hunt, And
it is Kareem
Nick
Hunt.
Chubb.
I'm thinking of Alvin Kamara. It's Kareem Hunt. Yeah.
No, it is. Yeah, it's Kareem Hunt, but they also have Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in the league. Kareem Hunt is one of the best running backs right behind him, and he receives the ball. Like they throw to him a
receiver that just comes out the backfield.
Yeah. So he technically had 3 receivers plus 2 mediocre tight ends. His team was pretty good.
It was good.
He had no excuse to be losing and like playing like garbage. Basically, he was like this last season was probably his worst season as a quarterback. He got a State Farm deal and all that. And
think about that draft, bro.
What was that, 2017?
That was 2017. No, 2017. No, 2018, I think.
17 or 18, one of those 2 years.
Baker Mayfield, Saquon, Darnold, and who was number 4? Oh man, who was number 4 in that draft? Was it Josh Allen? I think Josh Allen's like the only good pick out of like the top 10. Everybody else was a failure. Like Saquon still could be nasty. Don't get me wrong, because he always hurt, and then when he's not hurt, he has no line. So the reason why he was successful his rookie year is because Eli Manning used him as his dump off. Like, you're gonna run a straight out, and we're just gonna give you the ball when I look up and there's a defender, a defensive lineman looking me right in the face. I'm just gonna flip the ball to you. You're gonna take it 30 or 40. So that's the difference. But
Josh Allen was actually 7 at Buffalo.
It was 4.
Denzel Ward to Cleveland. Cleveland had a first pick
and the
first pick and a 4th pick. They picked Baker and Denzel
Ward was nasty. I'm not gonna lie. Is he?
He's a safety. No, he's a safety for Cleveland right now.
He was playing quarterback, right?
He drafted as a cornerback, but I think he's actually better as a safety too.
Oh, okay, he was nasty.
Because remember they had Jabril and they traded him to Giants, and then they had Denzel Ward there. They were like, all right, he's gonna take a Jabril spot then. But Josh Allen went 7th in that draft. There were 2 quarterbacks taken before him. That was Darnold and Mayfield. You're right. Could have had it all. A lot of people didn't see the value in him, truthfully, in Allen when he got drafted. They said, "Oh, he's a Wyoming quarterback. He just has an arm." And
it was that, and the fact that right before the draft, he had like those racist comments that came out when he was like 6 years old. So like,
really? Oh,
yeah, he was mad young. He was like a sophomore or junior in high school, and he said some racist comments on Twitter. And then of course it came back, but he still got drafted in the first round.
Well, I got a reason to hate him now.
People thought he was gonna drop like way low, but then he was like, "Man, I apologize for that like 5 years ago. Like, why are you guys still holding on to it?" And it's like, like, of course it was racist, but I apologize, and I'm really not that person anymore. Of course, you'd have to see him outside of the public eye to see for sure.
Yeah,
but he's like, man. So then the Bills took a chance on him.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. I actually did not even know that. I probably remember, like, blanked it out of my mind just because, like, the one thing I remember specifically was that people were not high on Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Just like,
they were like, oh, he only has a strong arm. Like, what does it mean? Like, okay, wait for him to throw in 12 degrees when he can still throw the ball 40 yards, 50 yards. Yeah.
They're learning their lesson now. So before today, the other trade that happened this past weekend was Matt Ryan to the Colts, who is now their 6th starting quarterback, I think, in the last 6 years, post Luck. Mariota, who was behind Carr in Vegas, now goes to ATL. And that's the part that confused me about mostly the Deshaun Watson trade, was that ATL had him in the bag. But I think Watson knew his best chance was going to Cleveland, because they had the most options.
That's not why he went.
That's why I think he went. Like he said it.
Cleveland was the only team that guaranteed his whole contract, because he went through and talked. He was never going to go anywhere that wasn't going to extend him. He went, and Cleveland said, "We'll give you 4 years, $230 million, or 5 years, $230 million."
So,
he said, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, 100% guaranteed." He said, because remember, like less than 24 hours before that, he said, "I'm not going to Cleveland. Why would I go to Cleveland?"
Yeah,
and
I actually remember that specifically.
Don't talk too soon. 5 years, $230 million. He said, on a second thought, I'm going to Cleveland. He said it. He's like, yeah.
Okay.
100% guaranteed. Come on. That's $46 million a year.
You can't drop that. No player would drop it 100%. Yeah, no player in the NFL. Even if you make 1.1 million and they tell you it's fully guaranteed, you're running. You're running to that bag. But that's the part that confused me the most on that is the whole ATL situation. He's from there. He's from Georgia. He was a ball boy with the team. He grew up like with Julio Jones when they were there with like Matt Ryan's quarterback. I thought that was in the bag, and that's why it confused me. It just seemed like perfect fit. Them or the Saints, I think, were the other 2 options.
His best chance to win is with the Saints, because I'm pretty sure at this point Michael Thomas would get his life together and say, "Okay, I'm gonna play now."
But that's just one guy. Like, it would just be him and Mariota.
Drew Brees was nasty. Don't get me wrong, but Drew Brees was like dinking and dunking for the last 5 years of his career. So Michael Thomas was putting up top tier receiver numbers off of like tiny slants. Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball past 20 or 30 yards at that point in his career. So That's why it was like, okay, now if Deshaun Watson showed
That's
up,
when he broke the receptions record, basically, at that point.
Michael Thomas is showing up like, all right, I'm ready to ball out. Granted, they don't have Sean Payton right now.
No,
but they would have came crazy.
I still think his best chance to win is in Cleveland, and that's why I thought he took that deal there before the 100% guaranteed part. Atlanta has no team right now. They just lost their best receiver, Calvin Ridley, to Tampa. No, Russell Gage went to Tampa. That's what that was.
Calvin Ridley was the
gambling
thing.
Yeah,
which is like, come on,
betting on games.
Like, I get it. That's like one of the rules, but
he had a DraftKings account on another phone.
He bet on his team to win. It's not like he said, "Yo, bet them to lose."
I don't. How do you get caught? How does the NFL like dive into an investigation that deep that they find out you got another phone in a whole nother state that's earning you money off of your wins? Like,
he said, "I don't have a gambling problem. I only put $1,500."
No, he said, "I bet $1,500. I don't have a gambling problem."
Yeah,
which is the worst thing you could say after you get suspended for a gambling problem.
He should have been like, ridiculous. "I bet on my team to win." And I wasn't even playing.
Yeah,
it's not like I was on the field when
he was
like,
out. Yeah,
like he makes.
He had a whole family emergency.
He makes the team better, so it's not like he's like, "I'm on the field. We're guaranteed to win the game." I'm not playing, and I still think we're gonna win the game. I'm betting.
Hilarious.
I don't know.
Dumb but hilarious.
Dumb but like, yeah, whatever, man.
So that's before today. Today happens, and I think we both just found out that one of the more recent trades was Robert Woods today to the Titans. And I guess that makes sense because now the Rams have a spot
because he was
for
hurt,
OBJ.
Right?
Yeah, and he tore his ACL, which is why they picked up OBJ in the trade. And now I guess they open up a spot for him to come back. I feel like they picked up somebody, though. Another receiver, Allen Robinson, the second. He was on the Bears last year.
Because you can't have four.
Yeah, number one options, basically.
One or two options on your team.
Yeah, I don't know. They could definitely, like we said before, they can get OBJ back now, it seems. The Titans just lost Julio Jones. Not really lost, but they, released him.
Mm-hmm.
They've really underproductive year. But they get Robert Woods. Hopefully he comes off a more positive ACL note.
Was he underproductive or is Ryan Tannehill just trash?
No, he was underproductive. Julio Jones. It's a little of both because yes, Ryan Tannehill is not the quarterback that everyone thinks he is, but Julio Jones hasn't been the same receiver since like 3 years ago.
Well, that's also because Matt Ryan fell off a cliff after that Super Bowl. After they lost that Super Bowl, Matt Ryan was on the Hall of Fame track. He hit that Super Bowl and fell off a cliff.
Listen, not to be a cocky Pats fan, they should have won that Super Bowl. They should have torched us.
28-3 at the half. And
they did it.
You lose that game?
You get smoked in the second half and overtime. They did. You got one chance, and you let Brady come and tie the game. And not only that, he got the ball first in overtime.
Oh, God.
And as he always does, he ices you. I don't know. Robert Woods coming off an ACL injury, though. He's probably not starting week 1. That was a late injury. That was like week 12 or 13 too. So it's probably quiet for the Titans, at least for the first couple games. Then again, Derrick Henry could run for 3,500 yards this year, just off the time he missed last year. I don't know, bro.
You know why I doubt
he came and played that playoff game, and he was working. He got 87 yards and a touchdown or something like that.
You know why I doubt it? Because you have to throw the ball at some point. And I think Ryan Tannehill showed us his true form in that playoff game where he threw a pick on the first play and the last play of the game. It's like, nah, big moments. He's not.
You're gonna know it's gonna happen. He is Kirk Cousining his own career. By
Kirk Cousins still on a team making bank.
He's making bank right now. I mean, his receivers are Justin Jefferson and previously Adam Thielen. I don't think he's with them right now. But at least Jay Jett is on your team, You gotta at least be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Today happens. Robert Woods is one of those trades. The most world imploding, head exploding.
I get it, but dumbest
shock to the system trade happens at like, what was that, noontime today?
Yeah.
Some report came out. Tyreek Hill can't come to terms with a deal with the Chiefs. And it's like, what? Well, I guess they'll restructure or something. Tyreek Hill is seeking a trade. The Chiefs have granted him permission. What? Why is Tyreek Hill leaving? Weren't they just about to hand him a new deal or work something out? Tyreek Hill's on the Dolphins. I texted you first. I remember, like, first things first, before I texted any of my, like, football friends, family, I texted you. I was like, bro, he's gone. He's on the Dolphins.
Because I was listening to the radio on my way to work, and everyone was talking about, like, he said either the Jets or the Dolphins. And I'm like, him on the Jets, Zach Wilson will be nasty with he's
a dual threat quarterback with a jet sweep, run around the field receiver. Oh no,
is a Energizer bunny. Like,
yeah, man.
If you just roll out and give him the ball, your stats will automatically you throw for an extra 1,000 yards for the year. Yep. Because just the fact that he's on the field, everyone else is open now. Because just off the fact that you just felt the wind go by you, now you have to look, what was that? Now another wide receiver is open.
Tyreek Hill. And not only that, they could have had him and Elijah Moore, who was one of the best Jets receivers last year. And one of the better receivers in the league.
Who's the guy who returns kicks for them?
Braxton Barrios.
Braxton Barrios.
Yeah, also lightning. They could have had the 3 fastest receivers in the league, and instead he goes to Miami and pairs up with Jalen Waddle, who is also one of the fastest. He's Tyreek Hill V2. Like, it was supposed to be Ruggs.
It's him. Earlier. Tua better be Tom Brady.
Yeah, he has no other option to produce.
If Tua sells with this team,
Brian Flores was right.
A lifetime backup if he sells with this team.
And Brian Flores was correct.
Yeah.
He was correct about Tua if that happens this year. If Tua throws more than 6 picks this year, his life is over.
he's throwing more than 6 picks.
You can't throw a pick to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is going to get to the ball no matter what.
He might run
faster. His problem,
that's the issue.
His problem is that he was overthrowing people. You can't overthrow Tyreek Hill unless you have a Trevor Bauer cannon with the football, launching the ball 50 yards in an instant.
One thing you got to remember, though.
You can't overthrow him.
It's weird. Yeah. The football's from a lefty, man.
It's weird.
It's weird.
It's Tyreek Hill, though. I don't know. Mahomes was throwing him no-look passes. How could that be any worse? You talked about. You just said it before. This was the worst trade ever for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are looking at this, I guess, as an opportunity.
No.
Who is this the worst trade for then? Because the Dolphins swindled the Chiefs.
Bro,
they gave up 1 first-rounder.
They gave up. They gave up 6 picks though.
They're like 3rd and 4th rounders. They gave up
a 1, a 2, a 4, and a 5 this year, or a 4 and a 6 this year, and then a 4 and a 5 next year.
Yeah,
3 and a 4 next year.
A 3 and a 4 next year. Yeah,
bro. I don't know.
Nah, bro.
I think the Dolphins.
They have 2 other first-round picks this year. I think 2.
No, I don't think they had 3.
Hold on.
I think
I saw the update here before. Hold on.
I don't think it was a good trade for them just for the sole purpose of this. You gave him what, an 8th or a 7th of your payroll, just him alone.
Yeah, it's 2 next year. They have their 2 first rounders for 2023. Yeah,
you gave up all of that for
I don't know, bro.
And you gave up a 7th of your payroll. NFL payroll is what, 208 mil to maybe 210 mil. You gave him 30. That's a 7th of your whole payroll to 1 wide receiver. It's not even like it's a quarterback. It's not wide receiver.
He's not just a wide receiver though, bro.
Hey, because if
it is Tyreek Hill.
If Waddle becomes nasty,
you're gonna have to pay
him. You're gonna have to trade him. You can't afford 2 wide receivers with that money.
And
Waddle
you can.
6 years younger.
You can. You're gonna have to sacrifice elsewhere. the Bucks are doing it right now.
No, because if Tua ends up being good, you got to pay Tua first.
Tua's not going to end up being Tom Brady.
No, not
Tom Brady's
Brady,
made Tua's
Kirk Cousins Tom Brady. Kirk Cousins making $30 million a year.
Yeah, that's the Vikings' mistake to handle. But
you know why? Because he was the only free agent quarterback at the time. That's
issue. They took a gamble on him, and it was wrong.
And
you can't.
They made the playoffs. He's just not good. You're not going to win a chip
2 times. Like out of the last 4 years you've had him, and then last year I think he either got hurt or he sold again. The Dolphins basically told the Chiefs, "We'll give you like half of our picks for the next 2 years," because the Dolphins had something like 12 picks to start off from this year and next year. And the Chiefs were like, well, we can't sign this guy, and we just told him we're going to get rid of him. We're going to have to now. The Jets didn't offer a first rounder, and I think that was the ultimate, I guess.
A first rounder.
Yeah, he does.
No, not if he does. All of those picks.
Devontae Adams got a first rounder. And he got at least Adams 3 or 4 picks with that.
Tyreek Hill. Let's not act like Devontae Adams not better.
Okay,
he's way better. Than Tyreek Hill.
Where would you class Tyreek Hill? I think that's very wrong.
Tyreek Hill is in.
That's very wrong.
He's in the S class of wide receivers. Tyreek Hill.
Which means that you rank them equally.
Devontae Adams on a team where there's no other wide receivers. When everyone knows the ball is going to Devontae Adams every single time.
From Aaron Rodgers, asterisk.
You know the ball is going to Devontae Adams every single time. Still was putting up crazy numbers.
You have to remember that Devontae Adams is also built for the wide receiver position.
Yes.
He's 6'4", 215 or something like that.
That's my point.
There's no other corner. Tyreek Hill is 5'10".
He's just
200
fast.
Maybe, but runs a 4.2 flat. Like
I don't know. I understand. Like I don't think either.
He's one of the best receivers in the league. We know that, right?
I think what put him over the top as this being a bad trade is that it's $30 million you're paying Tyreek Hill. You got to be careful what you wish for. You're not.
That's not the trade. You could have traded for him and not paid him. But
no, he would have went to the Jets if that was the case.
No, because they would have just paid him what the Chiefs were going to pay him that last year, and he still had part of that contract from there.
Bro,
he wanted the extension.
Only reason he accepted the trade is because they promised to extend him. That's why he accepted the trade. He would have just stayed with the Chiefs.
That doesn't affect the trade aspect though. Like I feel
like never accepted. Like I said, that's the reason why Deshaun Watson went to the Browns, because he said they're going to extend me.
But I'm saying is that the argument will be the same if the Jets would have done the same thing, but that's not on the trade aspect. That's on the Jets. Like it's on the team to extend them. If they extend them poorly, that's on the team. That's not on the trade. Once you trade for him, you've done your job.
No, but
that's the fact that you got to pay him after, you got to negotiate that part.
No,
that's negotiable.
You got to remember. They announced the trade and the extension at the same time. That means they were already talking.
It was shortly after, but yeah.
It was, bro, it was the same time.
It was shortly. It was trade, and then extension right after. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill traded to the Dolphins for what? First, second, fifth, fourth, sixth, third, fourth, and $120 million. That's what the way it was announced. That's why it was like
it was the picks first, and then the trade, and then the extension after. You can't put that with the trade because that's
why
the only factor that's in the talk about that is we're going to extend you. How much is not the Chiefs' problem? That's not the Chiefs' problem.
No, that's what I'm saying. You know why it was all spoken at the same time? Because you cannot come up with a whole contract and accept it in 20 minutes. And that was the time frame. That means they already set out the extension before he got there.
No, because the Jets were off the board because they didn't offer enough for the trade.
But I'm saying the reason he accepted the trade is because they already signed the extension before he got there.
I think it's because the Chiefs accepted what they were getting in return. And I think they got swindled in that return. But the extension part happened, right after.
No, so here's
they accepted, okay, yeah, you're going to pay him. We're going to get this back. That's fine.
Here's the disconnect.
What's that?
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming the Chiefs. Like, yes, do I think they got enough? Probably not.
I don't think so.
But what I'm saying is the only reason the trade happened is because Tyreek Hill already spoke about his contract.
He knew the extension was coming. Yes.
And the amount and all that stuff, because there's no way you can say, what are you guys getting for him? And then make a whole contract and then sign it in an hour. It's not possible. You have to write these things up. That means someone has to go draft all of that stuff to bring to him for him to say yes, which is why I'm saying all of this was spoken about 3 days ago. The announcement came out today just to let the world know. That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, this is wild to me because it's like, yeah, I think the Dolphins kind of got swindled because yes, they didn't give up a lot to get him, but to pay $30 million to a wide receiver when the rest of your team is not amazing is not that good of a deal. The Browns could afford to do it because
I think that's where I'm still disagreeing. Well, yeah, okay. So the the Browns, yes, they can do it because their whole defense is not paid.
Nasty.
Their offense is paid. Yeah. Their offense, Myles Garrett is paid. That's the only one.
He was number one, yeah.
Everyone else not paid. And they just traded for another linebacker, I think from the Patriots to avoid paying him, Miles Jack or something like that. Baker Mayfield not paid yet. He's still, I think, on his rookie contract, right?
Yeah, he's on his 4th year now.
He's on the last year now.
And I don't think they picked up the 5th year. Did they pick up the 5th year option?
I don't think they can now. Especially not now. Yeah.
At the time.
They were going to trade him at this point. But at that point that the trade happens and that the deal is being done, I don't know still if I blame like the trade for all of that happening. I blame the team because of the negotiations aspect. Like the Dolphins,
but that's what I'm saying.
They gave,
I was kind of saying that, but I'm saying like the only reason why I say I think the Dolphins got swindled is because they came to Tyreek Hill with that contract, and that's the only reason why the trade went through. Because if Tyreek Hill said, "No, I don't want to go play for the Dolphins if they're not going to give me this much money," then he would still be on the Chiefs right now. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think the Dolphins are dumb because you don't give somebody $30 million. Like, he might be. I
don't even know if he'd still be on the Chiefs.
No, he probably would have gotten traded somewhere else by now. But but like he wouldn't have gotten traded to the Dolphins because the Jets weren't going to offer him that much money.
But that's the part is what I'm saying is that the Jets didn't offer enough in the first place.
Yeah.
Forget the contract aspect. They didn't offer enough picks for the Chiefs to even consider it. And Tyreek Hill didn't want to go to New York. I think he stated that in his trade.
Save money going to Miami. There's no state tax. Would I want to choose if I had to choose between New York or Miami? Like if I'm making that big money,
also because the team sucks. But yes,
but the Dolphins suck too. Like
the Dolphins were almost a playoff team this year. Yeah,
they're not but they were almost a playoff team because of who?
Because
the guy who's no longer the coach. No, the guy who's no longer the coach.
Well, yeah, Brian Flores
had the worst roster in football 2 years ago, and he took him to 7 wins.
Yeah, it took him to 7 wins. Almost made a playoff spot then. And almost made one this year. But yeah. All in all, I think that trade, if we could say anything about it, it shocked us to the core.
Because I went from 10 minutes. I went 10 minutes in literal 10 minutes real time. Oh, he's trying to go to the Jets. Oh my God, he's on the Dolphins.
He's on the Dolphins?
Literally 10 minutes. I was like, what?
I don't even we said it before. When we talked about this earlier today. After this trade happened, I told you I don't remember a time in the NFL being this volatile. Like people moving literally, like walking into new cities and saying, I'm playing here. And I think from our conversation, right before we started this, we talked about how the NFL is kind of changing now where players are realizing their value more, right? Like they're seeing I know how much I'm worth. Mostly because they can probably hire people or their agents hire people who run their own statistics on a player and say, this is how much my client is worth. And if they're not getting paid by, let alone the team that they love or that the fans love like them, if they're not getting paid what they deserve, they're allowed to leave. And that no trade clause aspect of contract signing now becomes the most valuable part of, I think, all of football contracts, at least now. In baseball, you have the opt-out, and that's proven to be super helpful because you don't have a guy sticking to a team for 10 years, Jacoby Ellsbury, and either showing up or showing out. And having an opportunity maybe to just say halfway, like, hey, I don't think we can be here anymore. Like, I can't play here. You don't want me here. Let me walk. Team agrees. They're gone. There's that part of the contract for, I think, all sports now is like probably the most important part of most major sports. But in football specifically, it's changed how we look at football players, and not commitment, but just, I guess, like loyalty as a whole to a team. You can say this started with like DeAndre Hopkins, where he was stuck with the Texans, and Texans fans loved him. They knew he was the guy for them, whether they had Deshaun Watson or not. They knew that they would have DeAndre Hopkins. And once he asked for that trade and went to Arizona 2 years ago, I think it was all over. It shook that team out. I think so, yeah, because he's been on the cards since last year, and last year for sure. I think the year before too. DeAndre Hopkins. I'll look that up. But in basketball, you can even say LeBron back in 2010, leaving Cleveland, his home city, going to Miami, winning a chip there, coming back to Cleveland, winning a chip there, going to the Lakers, a team that he loved growing up, and winning a chip there. And now, like, probably finishing out his career with his son. He gave out one of the most, like...
He said, whoever drafts my son, I'm coming.
That's crazy.
Teams are going to be fighting to trade for the number one seed for a 39-year-old LeBron. Like,
you got a guaranteed 39-year-old Hall of Fame bound LeBron on your team, not even and Bronny
at all. But he's just
player coach.
Whoever my son is, I'm coming.
He might get a 2016 A-Rod deal. You play 3 games, and then you're a player coach for the rest of the season.
Just go in the front office. Just get out of here.
we don't need you to swing a bat anymore, bro. Just tell people how to do it. Yeah, man. I don't know. The NFL is wild right now, and I mean,
to say it. I didn't say it.
What'd you say?
Baker Mayfield will be the next quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh,
guaranteed.
Ooh. They know they need
guaranteed.
One. They know they need one.
The Broncos got their quarterback. Everyone has their quarterback right now, except for the Seahawks. Every other team has, and the Panthers, but you're not gonna have the number 1 and the number 3 overall pick in that draft on the same team, trying to be quarterbacks at the same time.
Now the Seahawks have all those picks too, so if they can get picks back,
and Baker's not even gonna cost you that much. Maybe a two, not even a 2,
at most, at most a 2.
That'll be fine.
He was a first-round draft pick, but he hasn't lived up to it. But maybe a 2 at most. I don't see any other team that's really in the need. The Steelers got Trubisky, right? Yeah.
Yep. And
Winston went back to New Orleans. Atlanta has Mariota. I mean, that's it. Yeah, like those are the floor teams that need. Detroit still has Goff. They could deal with him for another year or so.
Goff is not bad, bro. He's just not a difference maker.
I don't know. He's not proven yet anything in Detroit. And I mean, he had that 1 year, that Super Bowl run was only led by the defense. But that was a purely defensive team. That was the
same year he put up like 50 on the Chiefs in the regular season.
That was also the Robert Woods and Cooper Cup show too.
Hey, like somebody got to throw
50 points. I know, but like that's definitely will put him on the map. Yeah, that's definitely will put him on the map. But he's not that guy. I don't think he is that guy.
Oh, do I think he's gonna be that guy going forward? No, but he did it, so it's in there somewhere.
I think the only other team that probably needs a quarterback is the Houston Texans. and
but they probably
I don't think that.
I think
Yeah, they'll probably be next year. Yeah, in the running for a whole new face of everything. But yeah, Carolina, Seattle. Those are the only other teams that need a quarterback.
Like I said, you're not about to have the number 1 and number 3 overall pick from the 2018 draft on the same team, because that's not quarterback competition. They both suck.
No.
And they already took Sam Darnold's 5th-year option. They picked it up.
No.
Like when they traded for him. So you're stuck with him. So why even, you might as well just let him play at this point. Let him play, and if he sucks, you get a higher pick. If he doesn't, then whatever.
You re-sign Cam for one more glory year, and you call it, and that's it.
I feel bad.
I don't know, bro,
because he really should be. He's still a problem. He just does not have the arm strength that he used to.
He doesn't have the strength or the accuracy. I don't even think, because
I don't even think he really had that crazy accuracy back then. He was just such a nasty runner.
Yeah,
like they kept taking their eyes off the receivers, and it's like, just throw it in the general vicinity. Look at you.
He was like that 2016-17 season. He was the absolute like definition of a dual threat. Like, look it up in a dictionary, and you'd see Cam Newton literally right there. Easy dual threat. Okay, we'll call right here. DROD Shaniac Sports Podcast. This was episode 30. Do we have any favorite 32s?
Shaq.
Basketball, Shaq, yeah. I thought he was 34 in the Lakers, but 32 in Orlando, right?
32 in Orlando, yeah. Actually, he was 33 in Orlando. Wasn't he 32 on every other team, though? I'm bugging.
Maybe.
Was he? No, he was 32 in Orlando, 34 on the
Lakers. He was 32 in Orlando. I remember 32 in Orlando.
33 on the Suns, I think. It was something random. It was like, what are we doing here? And then on the Celtics, I think he was also 33. And on the Cavs, he was 33 as well. Yeah, something like
I can only think of Shaq right there.
You only care about the team.
There's no. Yeah, and the he was 32, I think, too. Yeah, that was the only one. Episode Shaq, we'll call this. Even though it's a football episode, you can still catch us, DROD and Shaniac, on YouTube. We'll have this video coming up live. Catch us on podcast sites: Podbean, Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Pandora Podcasts. And tune in every week. We got new content for you guys. I hope you guys watched that first vlog of us at the batting cages, because that was funny. And when you see part 2 come out, you're gonna wonder, have these guys ever played baseball before? Hey, and the answer is yes.
Notoriously bad.
Nah, we weren't bad. We were decent players. No, we were both decent players.
Good swings. I was off balance. No hip twists. I was just up there swinging all arms.
It's been 5 years. What can we expect? This swinging a bat is not even just swinging a bat, but like hitting a baseball, making contact is not like riding a bike. If you don't do it for like 5 years, you're not gonna have the muscle memory to remember. You'll know how to swing the bat for sure, but you're not gonna be able to hit that ball, because once you get look at the comparison of the first swings we took in the 45 mile per hour cage versus like the first swings we took in the 60 or 70.
Yeah.
Because after that speed, we were like, we remember this. Like, this is, it's starting to feel normal again.
What I might do, I might go buy some batting gloves, or find my old batting gloves are probably dust by now.
I'm gonna go buy some batting gloves, bro. I can't find mine.
Yo. And I'm gonna get back into the rhythm of it. I might get that little rubber thing that goes here, so I don't lose my hand.
I always wondered, man. I'm like, what does that even do? And now I look at all the baseball players. You have to have that thing, especially with a wooden bat. Oh my God! God forbid that thing splinters in your hands. That whole thing is there for a reason.
I'm about to get rosin.
What's it called?
Pine tar. I'm about to get everything. I don't even know what it's called.
The thumb thing. I don't even know. Yeah, pine tar. We're gonna get. I'm gonna just buy a cork bat just for fun, so I can just hit some. I can crack some rubber balls, bro.
We gotta do an outdoor one when it gets warm. Like go to like Voti or something like that, and see how far we can hit the ball in like the big field.
Oh like, God, I'm already having flashbacks from the Voti field. I think we played one travel game there.
You know, we should
home run derby.
I don't know why we're saying this to the world, but you know what we should really
We're gonna do it anyway now.
Go to Prada, right?
Yeah.
Start with the minor league field, go to the major league field, then go to the high school field and see if we can hit it out all 3.
We'll start at Lucy Field. and then go to all four.
Yes, Lucy Field first.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but yeah, I got the same idea. See if you can hit a home run at all
Start
three
there,
fields.
go to the minor league, then go to the major league field, then go to the high school field. See if you can hit it at all four. That would be bad.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
We gotta buy a bat. I don't even have a bat. Like
I only have the wooden ones that they gave me from senior year, and I cannot find the metal one to save my life. It's probably somewhere in my garage. Yeah, with my name on it.
That
should have played senior year. Should have played senior year.
Nah, track, bro. I
know
got a scholarship off track, bro. I was nasty. I was nasty in track.
Yeah. Shane made the right move senior year. I should have gone and played like volleyball or something because I was riding bench senior year.
I would have went to the league.
Lax is fun, bro. My god brother plays lax. He's nice went to the and it's fun.
League in lacrosse if we had that in high school. That was nasty.
That's great. Man. All right, bros. Episode 32, DROD Chain Sports Podcast. Catch us next week. We got more content for y'all. We'll call it right here. Peace.
Later.